Hey everyone, it is Christine here with Christie Country Quilts, and I want to welcome you to our very first Mug Rug Monday. It's a new series that we're starting. Each Monday we will have a fun, quick project for you that combines two of my favorite things, coffee and quilting, into a fun and easy project. Today we are starting off with Coffee by the Campfire. It's a fun little mug rug that kind of keeps my favorite thing about summer with me all year round, which is sitting at the campfire with friends and family. So let's get started. What you will find on our website is a PDF file that has a list of supplies and also the outlines for the flames and the logs. Again, this should be on our website. Bear with me, this is our very first time doing it, but I will make sure that somehow this is available to you. Your supplies that you're gonna need are some scraps. So 1.5 inch by 2.5 inch rectangles ranging in colors from yellows, reds, oranges to browns. You'll also need a couple yellow, red, orange scraps for your flames, a brown scrap for your log applique, and then a background square of beige that's 5.5 by 5.5, your backing square 7.5 by 5.5, and a batting square that's roughly the same size. And for your applique, if you're gonna do applique the way I like to do it, you're gonna need some Heat and Bond Light, which is the purple one. And I think we are ready to go. And a binding strip. So my binding strip is 2.25 by 30 inches. And you can see I've already prepped it by folding it in half and pressing it along wrong sides together. So the first step we're going to do is to create our pieced border. So take your 1.5 inch by 2.5 inch rectangles and you're going to sew them together along that long edge. Any order works. This is what we did, so when it's done it's going to look like this. So you have your 5 rectangles all sewn together in a pieced border. The next step is to take your 5.5 inch background square and we are going to sew that border piece to the background square. Okay. So your background and your border piece are together. The next step is to applique our flame and our logs. If you have never appliqued before, I'm going to go through real quick my favorite technique, which again is using the Heat and Bond Light. You'll just need your pieces, scrap pieces, and then your outlines. If you have other fire or flame outlines that you want to use, that's fine. Again, these are the ones that'll be provided to you. I am going to do the logs. So what I'm going to do is take my Heat and Bond Light. You'll notice that there's one side, the adhesive side is kind of bumpy, and then there's a paper side. Put the Heat and Bond Light down with the adhesive or the bumpy side down against your paper and just take a pen and outline your shape. In this case, again, it's the logs. It doesn't have to be perfect. So it will look like this. Next step is to trim around it. You don't want to cut on the lines, just trim around your shape. Next, we're going to adhere this to our fabric. So I'm going to take my brown fabric scrap, put it right side down on your ironing board or your pressing mat, and then you're going to take your Heat and Bond piece, that bumpy adhesive side, and put that down against the wrong side of your fabric and just hit it with the iron for 1 or 2 seconds. Just enough to bond that paper. Now is when you can cut on your lines. So we're going to cut out our shape. This would be a cute project to give if you've got a camping group that you go with. This would make a great gift for all of your camping buddies. So it's going to look like that. You're going to do that with both of your flame pieces as well. So I use the yellow and the orange here. And now we can put them onto our background piece. What we'll do is, now it's just like a sticker. Basically, you pull the backing paper off, and it should leave you with another little adhesive side. So you just place those down where you like them. We start with our larger flame and then our smaller one on top to give it a little bit of dimension. Peel the backing off of our logs. The great thing about right now is that it's not super sticky, so if you need to readjust things, you definitely can until you have everything where you like it. Then we're going to iron that all down again for about 5 to 6 seconds. Okay. Just feel and check to make sure all of our edges are securely down. Now you can pick your favorite applique technique. Some people prefer to hand applique. I like to machine applique, and you can use a small little zigzag stitch like we did in our sample here, or you can do a blanket stitch, whatever you prefer to do. I'm gonna do a small zigzag stitch around my flames and my logs, and I'll be right back. All right, everybody, we are back, and I did my zigzag stitch around my flames and the logs, and now it's time to finish off the mug rug. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our quilt sandwich. You're gonna take your backing rectangle, and with smaller projects, you don't need to worry too much about shifting, but I'm gonna spray it with just a little bit of basting spray just to hold it nice and secure. Okay. And then we're gonna take our batting square, let that get a little tacky, and place our batting square on the top. Again, I'm just using up some scrap batting. Every time you do a project, you usually have these small little pieces. Mug rugs are perfect for that. I'm gonna spray just a little bit of basting spray on that. And we're gonna put down our mug rug top. Now, if we need to trim a little bit around the edges for that batting, that is fine. We're gonna trim everything to meet. Now, to hold this a little bit better in place and to give it that quilted feel, I'm just gonna take and do one zigzag stitch down along this border seam. There we go. So that'll help just hold all of our layers of our quilt sandwich together while we add our binding. This is our final step, and this is all personal preference. Once again, if you prefer to hand bind your projects, I want this to be really quick and simple, so I'm going to machine stitch my binding on today, which means I'm going to start by adding my binding strip to the back. I'm going to stitch this all around the back using just shy of a 1/4 inch seam, and I'll be right back. We have our binding stitched on to the back of our project, and now what I'm going to do is just flip it around to the front, like so. And sometimes it helps if you iron it down to help hold it in place. Otherwise, you can use wonder clips, but I'm just going to take and I'm going to flip my binding to the front and just cover up that seam from where I stitched it on. So just like this. I'm going to use my wonder clips. They're so much nicer than trying to use pins for something like this. And once I have my binding strip flipped to the front and secured with these wonder clips, I'm going to go around and I'm going to zigzag stitch my binding strip down, and then our project will be complete. So let's get that finished. All right, my binding is stitched on using that zigzag seam, and our beautiful Coffee by the Campfire mug rugs are all completed. I hope you enjoyed this project from Christie Country Quilts, and remember to join us next week Monday for our next Monday mug rug project. Have a wonderful week. Happy stitching.